And welcome everybody to another edition of the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, and it's great to have you guys here on this Wednesday, November 27th. We have a lot to talk about on the show today. Before I get into that, just want to remind you guys, as always, to tip or donate and get your comments recognized. Make sure to go to the Super Chat button in the chat and click on that if you want to see me acknowledge any thought or comment you may have throughout the live broadcast. It makes the show more lively, more entertaining between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. We appreciate your guys' viewership each and every day, so any contribution you can make to the show means the world to us as we put out content for you guys each and every day. And also, the other way to help out the show is by going to the link at the bottom of the show segment on the ticker, GSMCPodcast.net. That is GSMCPodcast.net. So let's get into what we are going to talk about today. So we're going to start off the show. We are going to preview the 3 Thanksgiving games for tomorrow. You have the Bears and the Lions to start us off. Then in the middle of it, you got the Giants and the Cowboys. And to finish off the day, you got the Dolphins and the Packers, which I think is probably the best game of the 3. So we'll get into that. We'll also talk about Aaron Rodgers and his most recent appearance on the Pat McAfee show and what he had to say about some of the reports that have been coming out involving him and on whether he wants to play next year or not. And we'll get into all that as well. And then it's just all previews the rest of the way. We'll preview the big matchup between the Eagles and the Ravens. We'll talk about the Bills-49ers game on Sunday Night Football in the fourth part of the show. And then in the final part of the show, we'll take a look at the remaining games around the league. We'll take a look at the college football matchups. Also, the updated college football bracket came out. Playoff bracket, so we'll take a look at that. We'll look at the previous week. We'll look at the matchups for this week. It is rivalry week, so we'll get into all that. And then, like I said, we'll take a look at the remaining games in the NFL, the Black Friday game between the Chiefs and the Raiders. We'll get into all that and much more. So let's get into the first topic, which is previewing the 3 Thanksgiving games for tomorrow. So not the best slate. It's kind of lacking, but I think at least 2 of the 3 are intriguing and could be good games. I do think that the Bears-Lions game, as we'll get into that first, has the potential to be a good game. It does. It definitely has the potential to be closer than we would think. It's a big spread. The Bears are 10-point underdogs in this game, 10.5-point underdogs. Lions are coming in a little banged up. Obviously, there's no Aiden Hutchinson. Alex Anzalone, one of their linebackers, who's been really good for them, he was placed on IR, I believe, with a forearm injury. So that's a big loss for them on defense. And you also have David Montgomery and AmonRaSt.Brown, who are a little banged up, but they're practicing. Monday they weren't practicing, but now they've been limited. So it looks like they are on track to play. So, if you didn't have both of those guys, then you really lean towards taking the Bears with the points. But, either way, though, they are coming in a little banged up, the Lions. But they have been the best team in football. There's no question about it. And for the Bears, it's been a heartbreaking last couple of weeks, or really last month or so. The last 2 weeks against the Vikings and the Packers, 2 divisional opponents, you had a blocked field goal, potential game-winning field goal that ends up getting blocked. You end up pulling off a improbable comeback against the Vikings where you're down 10 under a minute. You score a touchdown, you get the 2-point conversion, and then you recover an onside kick, and you get into field goal range. You tie the game, you go to overtime, you end up losing that way. And then also, you had the Hail Mary that happened against the Commanders. So the Bears have suffered some heartbreaking losses this year. But I will say, these last couple of weeks, Caleb Williams has looked better. DJ Moore had a very good game against the Vikings. So, the Bears' offense is heading in the right direction going into this game. Now, those last 2 games came at home. Now the Bears have to go on the road to Detroit, where, that place is going to be rocking tomorrow. The Lions actually have not won on Thanksgiving, I believe, since 2016. So it's been a long time. I think that streak will end, but I just think when it comes to the Bears and how they've been playing as of late, I feel like that line is too big. and it's a divisional opponent. It's a divisional game. The Bears played the Lions tough last year. They almost beat them twice. Now, obviously, that was with Justin Fields at quarterback. Now you got Caleb Williams, but Caleb Williams has been playing better. At times he does hold on to the ball a little too long. He's got to get rid of it at times instead of taking the sack. But like I said, you'll take it because that few week stretch that led to Shane Waldron letting go. It was rough. That offense just really couldn't get anything going, but they have looked better. And, they got firepower on this offense where they could keep this game within the 10 points. But would it surprise me if the Lions blow them out? No, because the Lions have been really beaten up on teams. So, and this is a home game for them. They play really well at home. So it would not surprise me either way. But I just think that the Bears, they have a good enough team where they can at least keep it close. And the Lions are a little bit banged up. So that's what my way of thinking is there. So I'm going to say maybe the final score is 30-20, maybe something like that. And again, the Lions have not won on Thanksgiving since 2016, so maybe that streak continues and the Bears pull off an upset. So, but you just feel for the Bears because they have been playing better. It's just they have been on the wrong end of these losses here. So, but I got the Lions winning, but I got the Bears covering. Then we got the middle game, which I am not really looking forward to, but of course we'll be watching it because it's football. And yeah, and for fantasy purposes, spread pool purposes, the Giants and the Cowboys. Now, I don't know if Tommy DeVito is going to play in this game. It could be either him or Drew Lock. I don't think it really matters. Cooper Rush is actually a little banged up too for the Cowboys. So we'll see what happens there. The Cowboys are coming off of a win against the Commanders, a crazy game. Giants are coming off of that blowout loss against the Buccaneers. I think the Giants have kind of just mailed it in. And, the Cowboys look like they were playing for something against the Commanders on Sunday. And I just feel like whoever plays quarterback for the Giants is going to have a long day. That offensive line has not been good as of late. Tommy DeVito, the reason why he's banged up is because he really didn't get good protection. So whether it's him, whether it's Drew Lock, Micah Parsons is going to put his stamp on this game. And, that Cowboys pass rush, I think, is going to make whoever's playing quarterback for the Giants, it's going to be a problem. And on top of that, like I said, the Giants were non-competitive against the Buccaneers. It's a short week. And, I think Cooper Rush will play just good enough where, the Cowboys will get by and get the win and win their first home game of the season. They have not won at home this year. Both teams have not won at home this year. The Giants probably will not win another game. The Cowboys, you can get a win here, improve your record, and I think that they will do that here in this spot. And I think the Giants, they are 4-point underdogs, but I think it went down to 3. But I'm still going to take the Cowboys. I just think whoever plays quarterback for the Giants is going to struggle and turn the ball over and, give the Cowboys good field position. And, I like the Cowboys to win. I say they probably win, I don't know, 20-10 or something, 23-10. I don't know. Maybe the Cowboys really blow them out because that's what they've done to the Giants for many years. So that wouldn't surprise me either. But, yeah, I like the Cowboys in this spot to get a win on Thanksgiving. They usually do good on Thanksgiving. So I'll take them. And they cover the number. And then finally, the best game of the night, best game of the day, and that is the Packers and the Dolphins. Dolphins are coming in hot. Well, both teams are coming in hot. Packers coming in at 8-3. Dolphins coming in at 5-6. They have looked a lot better since Tua has come back. Dolphins are 3-point underdogs in this game. And the Packers, look, they beat up on the 49ers, but the 49ers were a beat-up team in that game. And Jordan Love still has not been great. He did not turn the ball over in the game against the Niners, but he should have. There was a dropped interception. And the Dolphins, Tua said it after the game against the Patriots, they're trying to change narratives because usually they're a team that struggles later in the season, and now they're going into a place where, the temperature is not going to be what they're accustomed to. And can they rise up to the challenge? Now, they do have the running game. The Packers struggle a little bit against the run. They do have the running game that could give the Packers a problem. And we saw what this defense can do at times. I mean, it stepped up against the Rams. They won a game that I didn't think they were going to win. They gave Matthew Stafford a hard time. So could they give Jordan Love a hard time and force him into a turnover? I think they definitely can. And they got a lot of firepower on offense, not just with the running backs, but with the receivers. Tyreek Hill is questionable for this game, but I'm sure he's going to play. He's dealing with that wrist injury. He's had a disappointing season, but that's in large part to Tua being out. But you got Jalen Waddle. Jonnu Smith has been playing well for them as of late. He's been making plays. So, this could be a close game, but I am going to lean towards the Packers. They are at home. And look, we talk about the running game for the Dolphins. The running game for the Packers has been great too with Josh Jacobs. 3 rushing touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing against the 49ers. Packers are going to lean on him in this game with the temperatures being the way it is. So I expect him to play well. I expect both running backs to play well. But I do like the Packers in this spot being at home. And I think they win and they cover the number. And the Dolphins will have to wait for another chance to change the narrative. But even with the loss, though, I think the Dolphins, they still have somewhat of a chance to make the playoffs. But with the loss here, it's definitely going to make it more important this final stretch here to win out. Now, I did have them going 10-7, so if they lose this game, they're 5-7. They have to win their last 5 to get to that number and maybe make the playoffs. But, the teams in front of you, it's going to be tough. The Ravens, the Chargers, and the Broncos. It's going to be really tough. And had Tua not gotten hurt, they would be in a playoff spot right now. And even when he did come back, you had those 2 games against the Cardinals, against the Bills that you could have won, and things would have changed. But, maybe they do win this game. Maybe they pull off the upset. But I just like the Packers at home, and I think they get the win here. And then the following week, we'll get Lions-Packers on Thursday Night Football, which will be a must-see game. But, yeah, to kind of run through the Thanksgiving game, so I got the Lions winning but the Bears covering, the Cowboys winning and covering over the Giants, and then I have the Packers winning and covering against the Dolphins. I think that score will be, I'll say it's a touchdown game, 27-20. It's a one-possession game. Packers get the win. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these games. Who do you have winning them? Let me know in the comments. So we are going to take our first break of the show. And then when we come back, we will talk about the former Packers quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, and his comments that he made on the Pat McAfee show on his future. So we'll get into that when we return. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.